Let's get started, man. Happy New Year, first of all. Happy New
Oh,
Year.
definitely. You too, man. You too.
That's right.
2022.
Trust me, we're here and we're alive, and aliens haven't taken over, and the world hasn't ended. And um, what else is there? I'm sure there's a loads of different things that haven't arrived. We're not in flying cars. We're not flying skateboards. We're not living on the moon. As much as you're probably a lot closer than we've ever been, but we made it. We made it to 2022, man.
Nah, man, yeah, we're here. We're here. It's gonna be a big year. I can feel it. I can
Yeah,
feel it. Mm.
yeah. I'm looking forward to the year. I'm looking forward to seeing kind of like what happens, like with this everything that we're involved in. Like even like you personally, obviously your missus, our kids. Like there's a lot to look forward to on a personal level, and then obviously with the business, loads of things to look forward to and see. Uh, for me, I always say like I've been on this journey for like what coming up to 2 years, so it's like I'm about to enter chapter two of my life's journey as I changed. I changed,
Mm.
and then I've taken a different route, and now I'm like chapter two in that route. It's a different story. It's a different journey, and like I can't wait to see what like chapter five looks like. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? And
Mm.
go from there in it. So yeah, man,
What
big
did,
years, big
quick
year.
one. What did chapter
Mm.
one teach you? What are the
Chapter
main takeaways from chapter one?
chapter one is I think consistency is key.
Mm.
You're gonna have ups and downs, but you have to do everything in your power to try and remain as consistent as possible. And that means, you know what? Scratch that. Consistency is key, but you know what? The biggest thing I felt like I learned in chapter one is
What's
that
that?
I have to get out of my own way. Like I
Mm.
have to get out of my own way. Most people don't even realize it, but
It's true.
sometimes you
It's
have
true.
like doubts. Sometimes you have like doubts and stuff. And like you could tell yourself you can't and you'll be right. And then you could tell yourself you can and you'll be right. So it's
Mm.
like the biggest obstacle sometimes is just yourself. Sometimes you have to get out of your own way.
Mm.
And I feel like, like when you're trying to achieve something, we always have this like sense of doubt sometimes. And then when that doubt creeps in, sometimes you can believe it. And I know I do it all the time. And I have to try and teach myself as much as possible and try and make it a habit to just step out of my own way because we're trying to change. We're all trying to change and do better.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it comes to New Year's resolutions, right? There's not many people who will make a New Year's resolution and then stick to it throughout the whole year. So, and that's that evidence that we can all we get in our own way. You go back to our own habits. But what we need to do is when we change, we have to accept that we're now trying to be a different person and trying to instead of kind of like going back to what you're comfortable with, what you're used to, your past self, and you're battling against your past self. My past self might not be teaching kids right now. My past self might
Mm.
not be going out and reaching out to new clients or going in front of the camera or even doing a podcast. So it's a new me who does those things. Do you know what I mean?
I
And
think that's
like,
yeah, I think that's important, like
mm,
realizing that your current self doesn't define you, like you can become something else. Because I
mm,
think when I was playing football, that's what I thought because I played footballer, I was because I played football, I was a footballer and that was who I am. I was Jamal the football guy. And really I was Jamal the football guy at that time, but you can evolve and you can do other things. And it's knowing that, yeah, just because you're doing whatever you're doing at the moment doesn't mean you won't be doing. You can't do something in 6 months' time, 3 months' time. Like you can evolve and be open to that change.
100%, 100%. I'm gonna flip the question back to you. Like, in terms of let's say just 2021 as a whole, like, what has it taught you? And what would you? Is there anything you take with you into 2022? Is there anything that you'll leave behind? It's kind of like a triple threat question.
I think, yeah, I think 2021 has taught me to one, be myself in any environment, because it got, I think, as when I was younger, I tried to be who these different environments wanted me to be rather than being myself within these different environments. So at football, I tried to be maybe the lad, and at work, I tried to be something else, and with friends or whatever, I tried to be something else. But I think 2021 has taught me that I can be myself throughout those different environments and still get what I want from it, I guess. Because I thought
Mm.
I had to be a certain type of personality to be able to get far within football. But I think like in hindsight now, looking back on it, if I was just myself, I think certain things would have gone a different way. I would have had a different relationship with managers, and they'd have been able to understand me a bit better. So I think the last year has definitely taught me to kind of one, be myself, and then two, put myself in I guess difficult situations and different situations that I wouldn't have put myself in before. And I've kind of seen the fruit of that as well back end of last
Mm.
year through like work and conversations and networking and different opportunities and experiences. So yeah, I think 2021 is definitely the year for me that I've put myself out there more and been more authentic to who I am. And yeah, just looking to carry that on into 2022 and beyond.
That's sick, man. That's sick. And you know what? You know, like so many people are going to be going on that same journey because I can relate to everything you just said. I remember when I first started working in marketing and there was a perception in terms of how to work like within the corporate world, like, and there was a certain character, uh, and I folded straight away. Like I didn't even try and be myself. Like
Mm,
it was just straight away. Like go like things like going to the pub. I don't go to the pub. It's not me to go to
mm,
the pub. Like literally, the only time I went to the pub was maybe if there was like what's it called, like a reception after a wedding or a funeral or something like that. That was the only time
mm.
or potentially even maybe watch a football match, and even
Yeah,
then
yeah.
like it was very few and far between. um and then it was like drinking culture, and my peers around me are drinking pints, and they're drinking like 4 or 5 pints, and then I'm here and I can't drink one. I can't even drink a whole pint. Like I'm struggling.
Mm.
Like, and it's just like, yo, this isn't for me. And then it would hurt me because it would be like, Jules, you're round, and I'm like, yo, I'm still on the first one. I'm I'm struggling here. Do you know what I mean? And then
Yeah, yeah. I hear that.
as time as time went on, I tried to like fight it, and like I was like, you know what, like nah, I rather Courvoisier, and that's what I
Mm,
drink. I
mm,
rather maybe a whiskey, a cognac. So like it's a journey, and you're on that same journey, and I can just relate, like because I think for me it was just years and years of just like not really being myself. But I think the easier transition of becoming yourself is when you go through big changes. So like when you start a new job, once you start a new
hmm.
job, it's like it's a clean slate again. So it's like, okay, I can
Yeah,
be more myself now.
you kind of leave
So
your old you or the old perception you had on yourself behind, and you kind of, yeah, like you said, it's a fresh slate to go
yeah,
forward.
yeah, yeah. And you know what? Like, you know what? Talk about jobs, to be honest. Have you heard like in the news recently that more people are quitting their jobs like now more than ever before?
I think, yeah, I think you might have shared that on your story, actually. I think
Actually, I
that's where I
did. Yeah, I
seen it.
did. I did.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you think about that? Do you reckon there's like a reason why? Is it COVID? Is it like what do you reckon?
Do you know what? Well, it's mad that you brought that up because I saw a Gary V reel earlier talking about this, about people quitting their jobs, and it's not because of millennials being lazy or whatever. It's because of the opportunities out there, and there's more opportunities now. So for young kids growing up, for millennials growing up, it's not just the standard jobs. It's not just the standard route to find a job, which is university. Kids can now just hop onto YouTube and start streaming gaming, and that is a legitimate way of earning money and making a living. A, a lot better living than what most wages you'd get through maybe university. I know it's rare, but these are now legitimate options that we never had before. So people are starting to see other ways of earning income, earning passive income as well. So they're not kind of restricted to the 9 to 5. So I think that is definitely a major one. And remote working as well. It opens the doors up to so many people. I know I think for me, luckily, I've got a brand like Superdry on my doorstep, so that that's worked in my favor. But now if
Mm.
I was looking for another job, um I know I can broaden my horizons in terms of the company I'd want to work for, because before you'd be limited to wherever you're based or located. So yeah, I think definitely those two things have definitely played a part in all of that.
Yeah, 100%. Like people are not like I feel like I also think just to add on to those 2 points, I also think entrepreneurship has also kind of enabled this as well. So the fact that there's been this big push, how everyone's like business owners now. Everyone's a
Mm,
CEO, everyone's, set up a business some way, shape, or form, whether it's side hustles, whatever it might be. And the whole mantra for that group of people has been, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. Do you know what I
hmm
mean? It's always been like, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. And then this is the shift that I think has been happening where we've seen people kind of try and take hold of their own destiny. Even if they're not successful, they're trying to. Do you
mm,
know what I mean? And these are things that maybe generations before us, I think only the bold and brave would do it. You like
hmm
your Gary V's to a certain extent. Like they were one out of a million, but now
hmm
there's so much more that like you can go to anything and so many other people will be a CEO, managing partner, director, whatever it is of a business, um, and that in itself has created these different options and ways of working for yourself, focusing on your passions and things like that. So yeah, it surprised me, but then it doesn't surprise me at the same time. And I think as we get into the new year, you're probably going to see a lot more people thinking, you know what, this year I'm just going to focus on myself. This year I'm going to focus on my business, my side hustle, my hobby, whatever it might be, whatever passion point that they have, they want to try and focus on that because they'd rather do that than work at Tesco's or
mm,
work at, work at a supermarket or whatever it is. Not to say that, supermarkets are not valid jobs. They are, and they earn you money, especially when you need the money. But for many people, they're not places that are people are passionate about. No one
hmm
really wants to go to Sainsbury's, Tesco's, any supermarket and stack shelves. That's not that wasn't their life's mission, They're there because they need the money and
hmm
they want to try and use that money to get to the next place or whatever. They're trying to make ends meet. And that's the big reason until if there is pathways for progression, then you'll try and do that. But if there is no pathway to progression, you're gonna go somewhere else. And that's the reality of like these types of jobs.
mm.
We do have a question. Let's see what you guys saying.
Hello, guys. Yils, Jamal, how are you doing? Happy New Year.
Big up my guy Yusuf. Thank you for tuning in. Happy New Year to you too, man.
Yeah, Happy New
Um,
Year, Yusuf.
to be fair, we should ask you, Yusuf, if there any 2022 New Year's resolutions that you're gonna be focusing on this year, this month. Have you already fallen off the cliff, or are you are you still going strong? We're what 5 days into the new year. Um, I saw a lot of things on social media where people like obviously January 1st is the new year, but people wait until let's wait till the 4th or wait till the 5th after the bank holiday, and that's when I really really start. Do you know what I mean? And
Mm.
it's so interesting, this mindset. Did you have any jam?
Resolutions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I get that mindset though about starting on the 4th and starting when you go back to work because it's that routine. I've done the
Yeah.
same thing. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start eating clean from the 4th because that's when I'm back to the routine, Jamal, and we do the podcast every week, and I go to work, yeah, Monday to Friday, and that's yeah. So I'm in that, mentally in that
Yeah.
routine, and it helps. But yeah, I've got a few resolutions. I guess I
Okay.
hit my first ones. I got five. I've got 5 things I want
Okay.
to focus on this year. Priority number one is Elias, and I guess
Okay.
just continuing his development. I think he's two now, so it's a crucial year for his speech and his communication and his socialization with other kids and stuff like that. So making sure like he's my number one priority this year and he gets enough of my time that that kind of helps develop him a bit more. And I know you as a father as well will kind of I can imagine that's on your list as well for Killian. But I think that's
Yeah.
for me, that's been the main as soon as I've thought about resolutions, that's the first thing to come to my head. So I think that's number one for me this year.
Okay.
And I've also got, yeah, so work related goals as well. So just keep on, like I said before, putting myself in uncomfortable situations and hopefully I should see like the reward from it in terms of like my personal growth and work wise as well. So yeah, just more experiences, progression, networking, and just kind of building my personal brand as well. So that's two separate ones. I got obviously work and then my personal brand as well because I don't want to let that slip. I feel like people know me through football and then through Estrada, and then I feel like people might have lost me after that, and they've not really kind of kept up to kept up with what I'm doing. So I think I want to be more out there, more visible to more people, through networking, through my Instagram, through the podcast, and whatever else it might be. So yeah, two separate ones there as well.
Mm.
But yeah, before I
Mm.
finish off my last two, do you want to hit me with some of yours?
Yeah, sure. So I don't really have, what, for me, I don't have like a lot. Like I don't have like five. Like I feel like I'm always working on myself. So it's like
Mm,
it always varies. The first one for me is more of a health wise one. So obviously we speak a lot about football, and um I just feel like since having my son, I found it very difficult to kind of maintain like a certain level of fitness. Um, and I just want to kind of bring that back. I miss it. Like I remember the year, if we talk about 2019, before pre-COVID, I was active. I would play football 3, 4 times a week. Um, and it just did wonders for my body. And then obviously, I wouldn't say I got dad bod yet, but like definitely close-ish. So I'm just
It
trying to,
creeps
I'm
up
just trying
fast,
to,
man. It
yeah,
does
it's
creep
it's
up
it's so
fast.
easy. It's so
Mm,
easy because like you could just like I'll think about it like the last couple of days. So I've been focusing more on what I eat and also my activity. So I actually don't eat a lot, but my activity is very low. I'm not like cycling, I'm not playing football. Like
mm,
it's trying to stay consistent with that. So I've decided that I'm gonna try and pick up some running.
mhm.
My only thing is I actually hate running. Mentally, I actually hate running. So I gotta change my I
Right.
got I gotta
So many
change.
footballers can say that. So many footballers will tell you that, man.
I actually hate running with a passion. But
Mm,
it's a mental battle at the same time. That's what I'm trying to
mm,
achieve. So I'm not trying to run for a marathon or nothing like that. Me, I'll just run for half an hour. That's all I need. I don't
mm,
actually need more. And my aim is to just get quicker and quicker in that half an hour. Because if I'm running for
mm.
longer than half an hour, slip my wrist, man. I can't do it. Like
Oh,
it's
I'm with you. I'm with you.
you know
Get
what
me?
people talk about. Go on.
I was gonna say that I'd rather cycle, swim, do hours worth of press ups. Just don't let me run. Nah, I'm not on it. I'm not on it.
I, yeah, I don't know what it is about running. Like people talk about, I've got friends, they run, they do 5K easy. And then like, they talk about, oh, I feel so free. I feel so, I don't feel any of that. I don't feel any of that. As soon as I'm running, I'm thinking about stopping. And like,
Yeah,
that's the biggest battle for, that's the biggest battle for me. Do you know what I mean? Is like, so I know that I could run for half an hour. So I'm just gonna do that and just try and get quicker and quicker and go from there. And half an hour is more than enough time to try and finish like 5K. I want to try and get back to what I used to do 5K in like 18 minutes. So I'm trying to
mm,
see if I can get back to that. But that will take time. It will take time. So that's my first kind of resolution more is focusing on my health and my fitness. So it's eating right along with the exercise that goes with it because your body needs movement. And sometimes we get so stuck in our lifestyles that we realize we're not actually moving. Our moving is like going to the car, going to the shops. Sometimes it might be playing with my son, but it doesn't do enough for my body for it to, you know, I don't know, keep it in shape that it needs to be. So
mm.
that's my focus. It's like body's a temple, and drinking as well. I don't drink a lot, but I like cognac. So there's times when it's like, okay, cool. I might have a drink here and there, but I need to like, cut that down a bit, um, and just like see what the benefits of like drinking more herbal teas are and drinking more water. I just want to see what
Mm.
that can do. So that's my main focus. I know Yusuf did put in, he did respond to our question, so I'm gonna quickly play that.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you very much. Well, we had a lot of, a lot of difficulty, last year, especially the COVID. And I think it's something that, like, we're gonna deal for a long, long moment. But I think 2022 will be better. And I wish you all the best, guys. And it was really nice talking to you guys.
Yusuf brought up a good point there, man. COVID. We haven't even
Mm.
discussed COVID. We got a new variant, the Omicron uh, variant. I think over the Christmas period, like so many people caught it, which is mental. How do you think COVID will affect us this year?
Oh man, COVID. I kind of, I think this would be I think this year's got to be the death of COVID. I think it will still be a thing, but I think this year will be the year that we kind of learn to live with it. I feel like we're going down that route now anyway, in terms of the isolation periods being shorter, testing being less. I feel like we're slowly getting to that period. So I think, boy, I don't know if this is me being like overly optimistic, but yeah, I think 2022 is the death of COVID for sure.
Mm. I,
What
I
about you?
um I hope it's death for COVID. Because I don't want to ever feel like there's any restrictions in my life, like in terms of travel, business, even just people's opinions of me. I don't like it. I don't like it when obviously I'm not vaccinated person. I don't think my definition of vaccinated means you're fully protected and there's nobody out there that is fully vaccinated to me. Um, and I feel like I'm standing strong in terms of COVID and not being vaccinated. And I hope that that whole if you've had the vaccine or if you've had a certain number of vaccinations, you're this way. If you haven't had it or you haven't had any, then you're this way. I don't want anyone who feels
Mm,
like because they've had 4 jabs, they're better than people that have had one or two or none. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
Like there's a bigger play here, and I think that we need to be mindful of that. Like and I just hope that all kind of disappears. Whether it will, I doubt it. I just hope it does.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? I just hope it does. I saw someone today who was a big advocate for taking their vaccinations, and I think they just took their third one today, and now they've been offered the fourth one. And he was
Fourth.
like, yeah, second booster. And
Boy.
and he was like, you know what? I didn't realize it, but there's so many other countries in the world who don't actually have access to any vaccinations, and they might be
Mm.
suffering a lot worse. And today he launched a campaign to say, you know what? I want to donate my booster
Mm.
to another country, and I think that's something that needs to be said, because obviously rich countries they got it, they got
Mm.
vaccination in abundance, but it almost feels like it's another way that they've used these vaccinations to kind of in debt some of these, third world countries. They don't have access to these things. So what does that mean? That means they can't come to these countries anymore. They can't come into our countries if they're trying to seek for asylum, and all these different things. And like they can't sort their countries out. You know, they're putting red lists on these countries. So even people from our country can't go to their country. Like, do you know what that does to these countries? Like,
Mm.
especially when tourism is like probably their biggest export. So, it's like these are some real life issues, some big boy issues that is surrounding the vaccination, and people just fully unaware of it. They're just like, oh yeah, I got my vaccine and I'm safe. But really, what the country's doing sometimes isn't in the best interest of the world. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah, I think what
Sometimes.
the UK does, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's wow, but what the UK does effectively is isolate the UK from the rest of the world. They might include US and they might touch on China, but apart from that, we kind of isolate what goes on in the rest of the world, in even within Europe. Now that we've left the EU, so yeah, it's kind of being aware of what other country situation is as well. Because I was on a call yesterday, I think it was with a lady from Bulgaria, and she was saying that only like I think it might be 30% of the population have been vaccinated, and it's just
Mhm.
due to a lack of vaccinations. So, like you said, it's mad that people being offered their fourth when other countries haven't even had their first. So, yeah, we'll see what happens
Is
with the whole COVID situation. But I hope, yeah, I hope this is the last of it. By the last year, it affects us in terms of like restrictions and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I hope for that as well. I, I I heard. I don't. Have you seen the latest episode of Stephen Bartlett and Jordan Peterson?
I watched the first half. Yeah, watched it this
You
morning.
watched the first half. You hear what he said
Mm,
about like what the average American thinks would happen to them when they get COVID.
mm,
Like I think 20.
mm.
They think they have a 25% chance of death, which
Yeah,
is which
it's
is
madness.
mental, right?
Madness. Where did they even get that statistic from? Like what?
Well,
Yeah,
when
it's madness.
I feel like when the media is like kind of proper pushing it out there and putting it in your face, I think it's very easy for you to just get a sense of fear about this. And then when, certain states in America, I think we touched on it last year, like in New York, they're making it mandatory for you to get vaccinated in order for you to work, otherwise you can't work. And it affected a basketball player called um, uh, Kyrie Irving, who basically rejected the vaccination, and then New York put in this law, and then he was unable to play for Brooklyn Nets in New York, and then now, and then he was like suspended for a while, and now he's allowed back into the team, but he's not allowed to play any home games or any games that's in the state of New York, but he can play away games. And it's like it's this type of thing that's happening to like players, and we're seeing it happen in the Premier League to a certain extent, and other leagues where they're making it such a mandate that everyone gets vaccinated and things. And Jordan Peterson kind of just talks on the evidence in terms of how COVID actually affects, especially healthy people, people who are okay. You know, it's the people who are vulnerable, who have underlying issues, who have, especially obesity, diabetes. Those people are actually the ones that struggle the most with uh with the virus. But yet there's still a mandate for everybody to get vaccinated, which makes it a little bit confusing.
Mm.
But who profits is the people selling the vaccinations, right? So, but I don't want to get into any conspiracy theories, but I know Ethan's got something to say. So let's pick up Ethan. Happy New Year, Ethan, as well. Thanks for joining us back on the show.
Yo,
Say what
man.
you got to
Yo,
say.
Jules. Yo, Jamal. Um, yeah, I hope you both are well. George, I sent you a picture of the Lagos thing I was talking about. But yeah, man, I've had the booster as well. But also, I've also been ill, as I said to George. But yeah, bro, it's poo poo, pretty much. It's really cack. But yeah, man, I'll speak to you guys in a bit. I won't be able to join because it's a bit noisy in my house at the moment.
Yeah, big up Ethan, man. Big up Ethan. Vaccinated and boosted. I don't know what's next, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, man, going back to your resolutions, Jam. So, you said you had two more.
Yeah, so similar to yours, really about health. I think for the majority of 2021, I was good until I'd say October onwards. I feel like it all kicked off on my birthday, and it went downhill in terms of like regular drinking, eating out, takeaways, and yeah, just trying to get that back on track, I guess. It doesn't help with my partner who owns a baking business. Small plug, Treats by T at Treats by T on Instagram. Gotta get it in.
Love
But
that.
yeah,
Love that.
it doesn't help with having bakes and treats around constantly. But yeah, just having a bit more discipline around that and saying no when there's spares and stuff like that. So I think for me, yeah, just making sure I'm eating the right things. I've started juicing regularly. We got a Southside juicer in the Black Friday sale. So as a family now, we started juicing fruit and veg. So we got a juice. We all have a juice a day. So just trying to keep that up and making sure, yeah, like our health is a priority this year, especially with having kids as well. Like, I feel like I've just been ill, like in terms of like illnesses. I feel like every month there's a new illness within the family. So yeah, making sure
That's
we're
crazy.
eating the right things. Yeah, it's madness. It's
You
madness.
know what? For me, yeah, I don't feel like see, I haven't been unwell, so I don't even know. Like, I rarely ever get unwell. Like, very rare. And if I do, it's normally once, maybe twice a year, and that's typically the transition between it being hot and cold. So,
Mm,
like, as we go from cold to hot, or when we go from hot to cold, that's normally when I get ill, and I just feel like that's my whole body temperature is affected. I don't know what it is, but that's normally the
mm,
time when I get ill. So that's April and maybe August slash September as we get
mm.
into like October. That is it.
No, I was the
And
same.
mm,
I was the same until Elias went to childminders, and I feel like he's bringing back all these gems. Each month there's something new, but
it's
but yeah,
crazy.
it is crazy.
No, you
It's
know what it
crazy.
is? You know what? It's the same with my son, though. My son, yeah, he, I feel like he's ill always. He's constantly ill, right? And I get it, but I don't get affected. I don't know what it is.
Mm.
I don't really get affected. He's
It's the
just
dreads.
like,
I'm telling you, it's the dreads. He's got superpowers in it.
you know what? I've always believed in my hair gives me strength in it, and
Mm,
again, this is a part of my journey in it. We said it earlier in the podcast about being your true self, and like I made this decision when I was like 13 to grow my hair, and I grew it out until I was 19. And I cut my hair when I was 19 because I knew I need to start looking for jobs and I was going through university and things like that, and that was a part of myself that's me not being myself. Um,
mm,
and there's certain distractions. I remember like playing football because it was like I was trying to go full time with football. There was an element of me being like, you know what? If I cut my hair, I could be like Thierry Henry again. And like, but like, none of that was me. Do you know what I mean? It was like, none of
mm,
this is me at all. But like, this is how I was like trying to convince myself. Do you know what I mean? But I cut my hair and things like that. And, in our family, not many males actually have their hair long. And
mm,
it's interesting because the perception of people who have long hair as well is normally a negative one. Um,
mm,
but for me, I've always enjoyed it, and from books I've read, even biblical as well, like your hair is your strength, and it can represent your strength.
mm,
I'm not going to say this is for everybody, but that's what it is for me. So you have to accept me for who I am. And when I was going through my changes to live life on my own terms, hair was the first thing I'm growing. Do you know what I mean? And it's coming up to a year since I've had the dreadlocks now, and they look healthy, they feel healthy. I'm
mm,
just happy. Do you know what I mean? So
mm,
there's no balding, there's no, people start losing their hair and stuff. Like I just know that I'm doing the best that I can with my hair, and
mm.
for me, it's part of my strength. And who knows? It could be the hair, but I don't know if it is or it isn't. But
You might have to
um,
cut a dread off for me, and I can just keep it in the house. Yes, I can pull it somewhere. Maybe that will sort me out.
who knows? Who knows? Or maybe you could just do like you know what? Like I'm not gonna cut my hair for a month to see what happens. See,
Mm.
let's see if you get ill.
Yeah, no, to be fair,
Let's
I
see,
do that.
let's
I
see.
only get my hair cut once a week at the moment, once a month. So maybe I leave it 2 months.
Maybe yeah, maybe
Just
leave it
how,
2 months. Yeah.
yeah, just
Give it
yeah,
a
no,
try,
that's good,
man.
man. Yeah, no,
Give it a
definitely,
try.
definitely.
But
But
yeah. So
yeah,
when
what
so I forgot what I was gonna say. The other resolution.
I think it's merged into one. So I've already touched on this before. It was just putting
Okay.
myself in uncomfortable situations and continuing that, which kind of linked to the whole work resolution as well. So yeah, just keep doing that for me. So that's kind of my resolutions in a nutshell. Stuff for
Mm.
me to focus
That's
on.
good, man.
But it helps to
That's
it
good.
helps give focus and work towards something because I felt like at the end of last year I kind of lost not focus but maybe direction in terms of what I was working towards. So yeah, having that new year definitely helps in terms of just kind of putting yourself back on track and aligning yourself again.
Generally, it will always happen, and it's what they say is that you always need to have that thing that you can go back to. So if you do write it down, it's like, oh yeah, 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 that's what I need to go to. Do you know what I mean? It's like having those
Mm,
pillars that you can live by that will keep you on your path. Because there's definitely different distractions. Like even if I'm like talk about business, there's times I'm like, you know what, I need to pack in the whole business and just focus on NFTs. Like,
mm,
no, I can't do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, but like, there's a power in the focus, and if you have like your principles that you can live by, that you write down your goals, those will just help you maintain on your path. Like, not to say
mm,
that I don't want to, not to say that NFTs is never going to be a part of my thing. It is, but I can't just sacrifice everything to just go solely focus on NFTs. I'm building something here. Do you know what I mean? And it's about
mm,
being
mm,
consistent. Yesterday I put out a post about the 1% principle, where if you just change, if you just focus on one thing for 5 minutes a day, like let's say for example you focused on like I'm gonna learn 5 words in Spanish, every day. How many words would you know in Spanish by the end of the year?
mm,
That's a lot. I'm not even gonna do the math,
mm.
but it's a lot.
Yeah, whole
And
heap,
then
whole heap.
and like that's a lot, but like, and then if you look up maybe how many words you actually use in like the average vocabulary that the average person has in English, you'd be like, right, it actually probably matches up. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
So you could potentially learn a whole language in a year, and by just giving yourself 5% every day. Do you know what I mean? And like
mm,
some people don't think about it in that way. because that little 1% just sets you off into a different direction. So if you imagine like two parallel lines, and then you got one line that just goes 1 degree and it goes in a completely different direction to the other line that it used to be parallel to. And like it's that type of thinking that I feel like is really important. That's why I just felt like I had to put that post out. Like, I was sitting on it and I was like, you know what? Like, it's New Year, let me put something out like that. And that's another part of, I guess, myself that I want to show a little bit more of, like just the motivation, inspiration, and wisdom at the same time. I just want to push that out more and more this year. And it's
Mm.
part of who I am, where, people from my old life probably won't even think that. Like, I think I know I'm a deep person. I like to talk about things in its layers, and I think people probably before in the past probably would be like, "Nah, that's not Jules." You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mm.
So yeah, it's that as well. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this year. Is there anything that you don't want, like any situation, sayings, could be anything that you just don't want to be here in 2022? I know you mentioned COVID, but like whether it's marketing, whether it's work, whether it's a saying, whether it's like cancel culture, whatever it might be, is there anything that you feel like, we gotta leave that or that attitude in 2021?
Mm. That's a good question. That is a good question. What can I think of? You know what? For me and in work, it's all these marketing buzzwords that I keep hearing, and I'm just like, Jesus, what, who makes these words up? Because I feel like marketing would be a lot easier to understand if you got rid of all these buzzwords and just said what it was they were talking about. So I'm calling for the ban on marketing buzzwords and for people just to be clear about what they want.
Clear and
That's for me.
direct.
Clear and direct. Don't give me waffle. I'm waffle as well within marketing. I don't want any more waffle. I can't do it. Like if you want someone to do something, just say it. I don't need an hour's team call to go around it and then touch the size. Not even don't even ask me what you actually want. Just tell me, please. Even if it's just an email, just email me what you want. I don't want the waffle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I think
like
that's
that,
for
man.
me.
2022, clear and direct, please only.
Yes.
Like, did you do that project? Or
Mm,
you know what I mean? Don't beat around the bush. You know what I mean? I know exactly what you
mm,
mean. The only thing is with marketing, the only thing I think is hard is that I feel like marketing is like almost equals fluff. Like it's
mm.
like it's
Yeah.
part of it. It's all part of it. If you're too
It
direct,
is
it's
all
like
part
it's
of it.
rude.
Mm.
It's almost rude.
Mm,
One thing came to mind for me, which was obviously we've seen the rise of businesses talking about being black owned, and like I thought at first, I thought, you know what, this is a good idea. And then as time goes on, and then witnessing what's been going on over the last year, and there's been a breadth of black businesses, right?
mm.
I just don't like it anymore. I, I don't want to say, look, I don't want us to say like, okay, yeah, like don't say you're a black business. Yes, you can say you're a black business, great, but we don't need to try and use it as like buy with me because I'm a black business. It's not a selling point.
Mm. No, yeah, yeah.
It,
It's not you. I feel like we've started to become more entitled. Dave Chappelle touches on this,
oh,
like
does he?
about yeah. On I think it might be his latest Netflix one. But being black has now become like you said a selling point. Like people now must go to you because you're black, and that's a way in. But yeah, I think definitely leave that in last year. Like we don't see other cultures doing that. The Asian community don't have stickers saying, yeah,
Do
we're
you know what
Asian,
I
we're
mean?
Asian, and yeah, yeah, we don't need that. We can hold our own and be black facing and stuff like that, and still find our way or make the bag. Like there's ways to go about it rather than screaming and having all caps black owned business in in bios. So we don't need that anymore.
Yeah, yeah. That's one thing to me. I just have to leave. Like
Mm,
just the simple fact that you have to say black owned business for me to try and buy something. It's like you're trying to use my race to buy, and I'm just
mm,
like, I'm not gonna do that. If I don't need it, I'm not gonna buy it. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
And the good products, I'm gonna go buy it. It's not because it's white owned or Asian owned. It's because I really want that product. Sell me the
hmm.
product, and I'm more likely to buy it off you as opposed to selling me that you're a black owned business. That does nothing to my value. Obviously, I
Yeah, yeah,
understand
yeah.
that there there's a push for more black owned businesses and I get that, we need to have like an economy, some strength and stuff. But I feel like that awareness piece is overrun now. And just the way it's getting, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not just gonna buy your candle because it's black owned. Do you know what I mean?
There's
So
ways,
I
there's
mean,
ways to do it. Like even in terms of like
so
marketing, there's this me I'm gonna forget the name of the business, but on one of Chucky's podcasts in maybe like the last 2 months, there was he got gifted a parcel of, I think it was like male grooming products, and within the
oh
parcel
yeah, yeah.
there was a slogan that said something like "For the brothers" or "For you, bro," or something along those lines. And I think, yeah, that's like a perfect way to kind of highlight that you're from the culture without saying you're from the culture. So it's like stuff like that that I think will be important, and a better way to communicate that you're part of the culture, you're black owned business without screaming about it.
Agreed. Agreed. I like that as well. I think that's yeah, that's a good way. I think that's a good like subtle way of doing it. And yeah, I'm gonna try. Even myself, like obviously we're black owned business, but I'm gonna try and do it in a very subtle way. And I want it to
Mm,
be done through more through action and the way that I give back and stuff. So
mm,
um
mm.
yeah, that's gonna be the way for me. I did have a hot topic question. I was normally like, I'm gonna try and include this on every podcast where I ask you a question first, and then you answer it at the end. But I think I'm probably gonna leave it to next week and then include it in
Mm,
there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode as well. Potentially might have a special guest for you guys.
yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, man, happy to wrap it up there. It's been an amazing start to the year so far. I know we're just a couple of days in, but I'm excited. Uh, I got goosebumps. I can't wait to see what happens. I'm not thinking about anything negative. I'm not thinking about COVID. I'm not thinking about what could go wrong. And I'm sure things will go wrong, but we'll come out of it at the top, at the end. We'll come out on top. So yeah, man. Yeah, let's leave it there. And thanks for everybody who's tuned in. Um, you can find us on all audio platforms: Spotify, Tidal, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. Where else? You can hit us up on IG. My IG handle is Mr. Julian Green. That's Green with an E, and that's Julian with an A. Yeah, Jam. Was it? What's your? I
Yeah,
always
man.
forget your new
Man,
one.
it's at Jam Lawrence UK.
At Jam Lawrence UK. Hit us up. We're trying to work on our personal branding. There's more content to come from us, more videos, more articles, more interviews. Yeah, man. 2022 is here, man. We out.
Until next time.